been a while since I've last done this. What on earth makes you think that? Okay, so I've got a resident spider, but they pay their rent. Now, because of this missing sensor of the replacement engine, I'm going to have to remove this cylinder head and swap it over onto this engine. First thing to do is to remove this sensor, which is held by a what feels like a 10mm bolt at the bottom there. Oh, a little bit stiff, but then a little bit grimy. I haven't put my gloves on. I'm hoping this will be a straightforward pull out. Yep, there we go. That's that out. I'll stick the bolt back in here. 10mm hex head, that's that dealt with. The next thing to deal with is the cam chain tensioner. Now, this may be a bit of a job because it requires a special tool which I don't have. However, the first thing to do is to remove this bolt and seal washer. Oh, a little bit stiff, but no surprise there. My temptation would be to remove the whole assembly. Right in the centre there is a slotted head, so I'm going to need a very small flathead screwdriver to turn it. Okay, you can just about see it there, little slotted brass looking screw that we've got to turn clockwise apparently. So give that a go. I've decided to get hold of for myself one of these special keys for locking the cam chain adjuster. Now let's see if this key will work. Winding it clockwise, that seems to lock it in place fine. That seems to work. The material of the key seems very, very light and thin, but it does seem to do the job. Rocker cover is a straightforward 8 bolts. Nothing special there at all. Bit boring watching me taking bolts out, so I'll cut this until I actually lift it off. Unusual shaped bolts, but that's them all out. Let's try and remove this now. Oh look, oh wow, well that was really easy to come out. Done. Next thing is to do the bridge, the tensioner guide. And then we've got to take off the rockers. It looks like there's 2 bolts on each of the cams. Okay, let's take this bridge piece off first. Sorry, bear with me. That's that little guide off. Yeah, there's a bit of slack in that chain. Each of these are marked as to the position. Exhaust right, inlet right, and they put a score through left and a score through exhaust, a score through inlet and a score through left, a score through right and a score through inlet, so it's exhaust left, score through exhaust, a score through right, inlet left. So these go back in their exact positions. There's a little bridge piece here that holds 2 bearings as well. They have, so I'm thinking as I'm going here, they can only be placed in one direction, so no problem about putting that back in the right place. I was also looking where this sensor came in and trying to see exactly what it picks up on. And to be fair, I cannot see what this is supposed to be picking up on. Right, okay, we've got a little forked piece here that maybe that turns with the camshaft. Yes, that plate is all attached to that sprocket, so it's that brushes past this sensor, yeah, and it picks up on the these going past to trigger the fuel injection. We can pop those back in there for now. The next thing is I'll take the spark plugs out, so remove the compression so that I can turn the engine over. Wrong size. Oh, wrong size again. Oh. Well, that's going to cause a problem. Neither of my sockets would fit, but I do have an old-fashioned box spanner, which hopefully will fit. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That will not go down into the tubes. So obviously, that's too big as well. I must have a smaller one somewhere. This is a tool from a BMW kit, which appears to fit just spot on. There you go, that's come out quite nicely. You can see there's a nice brick red colour to that. That looks like that was running well. So we should now be able to remove the camshafts. The inlet camshaft has this rather strange looking bracket on it, which is the trigger for the sensor for the fuel injection system. Triggers it to tell it when to inject fuel. Other than that, which is indeed a separate bracket onto the plate sprocket, there is no difference between these two sprockets. They both have an exhaust, and you can't see it from there, but it's got an intake mark, exhaust and intake. Now what I'm not sure of therefore is there an actual difference between the cams on these two shafts? Are they interchangeable? I'm just having a quick look on markings. We've got an EX on here and we've got an IN on there, so no, they are not interchangeable. Perfect. Here to have some bearing caps here, bearing caps here to remove, and they're very nicely marked: exhaust right, exhaust left, inlet right. And I think the first thing is to undo the two bolts on each holding the sprockets, so I can then take the sprockets off the cam. It's a fairly standard Honda practice that's been going around for decades. It's not that much different. 10mm bolts. Oh, that's turning the whole thing. Oh, don't like that. Don't like that at all. These are thread locked into place. Well, of course they are. Makes sense. Right, loosen that one. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't think that's going to be easy to shift. I think what I'm going to have to do is rotate the engine so that these are then line level. Of course, you don't have a kickstart on these things, do you? Got the centre bolt. There are no spark plugs in it at the moment, so there's no fear of compression. Something just went click. If the sprockets or the cams have gone out of line, it's not going to be a big deal. Right, let's see if I can get these loose. Sitting off there. I need to turn it around more. Let's give this one a try. Oh no! Oh no! I've just dropped the spanner into the engine. Fortunately, I have a tool for that. There we go. Perfect tool every time. I need 3 hands. Don't drop it. Yeah, you can see on there the Loctite or thread lock. There we go. The sprockets are off. They seem quite heavily torqued down. Nope, that's not working. That's not on level. That's not going on level. Ah! Nope. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's a little ridge in behind here which is preventing the tool going on. Yeah, so they're quite highly torqued now, and I'll try it with a smaller socket. It's a shorter lever so I don't get as much leverage. But it does work. Whew. Tough, 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 tough. Wow, they are pretty well torqued down. attach the cam chain, and we've now got to get these out. One, two, one camshaft out, and we are bucket and shim. And all the bearings look really, really good. Excellent, I would say. Okay, the guide seems caught at the bottom. Tensioner is a spring-loaded thing. Oh, wait a minute, what we've got here, which is also caught at the bottom. So I don't need to worry about either the guide or the tensioner blade. They're going to be cool. So the next thing now is we have 2 bolts front, 2 bolts rear, plus we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 bolts. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 bolts. Although, to be honest, these are studs and nuts by the look of them. They are standard hex. So that should be fairly straightforward to come off. Okay. Check that these tensioner blade and the guide blade are loose. They're not attached to the head. I cannot see any other bolts or fasteners that attach the head. So I'm going to start off by removing these 4 bolts which attach the head to the cylinder, and I assume that these studs go right the way through to the crankcase. Now I've had to use 1/4 inch drive here because the wall thickness of the sockets is thin enough to get in there between the casting and the bolt head. Unfortunately my 1/2 inch drive ones are too big to fit on. I'm also going to use my torque wrench because that will give me a longer leverage and hopefully will help me to crack these loose. Unfortunately the engine still wants to turn. Let's see if I can put my leg behind the crank here and try and prevent it from turning. There we go, that's one loose. That's 2 loose. 2 loose Lautrec. 3 loose. 4 loose. I shall remove those before continuing. I need to get... oh, my magnet's still there. Good. When I unscrew these, I keep going until I hear a click and the Sorry, I'm pausing as I speak because I'm waiting for it to happen. There. I don't know if you can hear this. I'll turn it again so you can hear the click. I don't know if you heard that click, but also the assembly drops slightly, and that of course is as the thread runs over the end, so I now know it's clear of its threads. Use my magnet to draw them out so that they don't drop down the chain well. Now those were 12mm hex head. The bolts are 14mm hex head. I'm going to do those in sequence. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, now to try and lift the head off. So from mallet, I think. Just having a quick scout round to make sure there's no other linkages, nothing else that's holding on to it. No exterior bolts. Whoa, that's actually coming off a lot easier than I thought. Okay, you seem to have come up so far and stopped. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we are struggling. Oh. Right. So the cylinder head is off. This is the cylinder head that has the sensor. So that's the one that has to go onto the replacement engine. So obviously now we have to repeat this process to take the cylinder head off the engine that's in the frame. That may give us some issues because of clearance between the cylinder head and the frame itself when I have to lift it up over the studs. Honda are usually pretty good at designing these things to be worked out in the frame. Once I've done that, I'm going to clean this cylinder head up. It's still got its gaskets in there, so I want to take all the exhaust gaskets out, clean up in the ports there. I've got new gaskets to go in. I also want to make sure the mating face is good, that I haven't damaged it. There's no reason why I should have, but just to make sure I haven't damaged it in the process. I'll show you the cylinder head when it actually comes off the engine in the frame, but I won't show the disassembly. There's no point, you've just seen the disassembly. So the process is exactly the same. It's just that clearance issue, which I'll let you see, and then it's the reassembly. All good.